Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Magic Hour. I'm your host, Majid Andary, a.k.a. Magic Leb. Please follow me on my Instagram at Fame Film Agency, and be sure to subscribe on my YouTube channel at Majid Andary. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Todd Gray.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks for calling me special indeed. This is great. I like this setup.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I was gonna have it in the garage, outside in the shed, so that I don't interfere with what's going on in the house. But I figured I don't have electricity in there. I don't want to have to run extension cords from the house all the way to there. So I said, nah, screw it. This is the perfect place.
Hard to do an Amish podcast with no electricity.
No, it's not going to work out. Thanks for being here, man.
No, honestly, thank you very much for having me. Thanks for doing what you're doing and giving people like myself and others an outlet.
No, my pleasure. You were highly recommended by Ali Dent. Hi,
Bless
Ali. Very highly recommended that she asked me to ask you to be here. Now, you are also a stand-up, right?
I am indeed. Yep. So a little bit of everything, but yeah, stand-up comedy. More so an actor by trade. So
I am so happy to hear that because I'm always looking for actors. Every time somebody tells me they've got acting experience, I jump on them like a cheetah because I'm always trying to recruit actors for sketch comedy films.
Nice. Yep.
And I need brave actors, because I'm so sick of this touchy, sensitive type. Oh, I can't say this, or that I find that people might find that offensive. Or I can't act this way because I'm not this way. Honey, it's called acting.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Like Robert Downey Jr. is a white man, but he played a black dude, and that was funny.
I'm pretty sure the guy who played Dormer in the TV series wasn't actually going around killing people.
Exactly, and that's what made it so entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
We want to see you outside your shell. That's the whole freaking point.
Well, that's one of the best thing about acting and everything as well, is that you get to put yourself in situations you never get to see yourself in and everything like that. That's the best part. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for brave people, and I hope after this we can talk about some sketches.
Oh, we're going to talk about plenty, aren't you?
Oh yeah, don't worry about that. I don't want to give away my ideas on this thing, but that's why we can talk about this later. Now, what made you get into comedy?
Well, funny enough, it was the acting career not exactly taking off with a boom.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, I'm an actor who does stand-up comedy, I'd say more so. But I went to acting college, AC Arts, Adelaide College of Arts off Light Square. Graduated in 2009. Got off to a pretty good start. Got an agent straight away. Couple of kids shows like Pantomime. Did a Cash Converters commercial.
Okay. And now, how does one get an agent? I took an acting course a year ago. I know I've done acting before, but I just wanted to take more... I wanted to be part of it more because I thought it would help my stand-up as well.
Mm-hmm. It does.
And they said that, get headshots and try to get an agent, but they didn't tell us how to get one.
Well, see, we were lucky at that acting course. We at the end of your third year, it's a 3-year course. They have a show like a showcast. So virtually, they invite agents in, they invite people in the media, they invite people in the industry kind of in to watch all the acting graduates of third years do kind of a monologue and all that. Bit of a showcase. And then that's when people can be like, oh yeah, we liked him, maybe, yes, no, maybe kind of piles. And I was lucky enough that I had an agent go, would you like to join my books? I said yes, and got off to a good start. Unfortunately, kind of got a little bit drunk on the illusion that, oh, this is a pretty easy gig. How good's this? I've got a gig here. I finished one job on a Monday, start another one on a Wednesday. Well, my life's set. And then the harsh reality of the industry bit me in the ass a few years in. And I just went, well, how do I still stay on stage? How do I not get stage rust? And that's where I ended up getting into stand-up properly. But there's a story coming. In my first stand-up gig, I kind of got thrown into it. It was I didn't even know I was going to be on my first gig.
Okay. Do you still find yourself you have to audition for a part?
I do, yes. It's nice, but there's some people who go, oh, this role will be good for you, would get you in like smaller projects and all that. But major one, yeah, I still audition. I did an audition just last week as well, like a self-tape one for a theatre show. So yeah, I'm still at the audition phase, and that's fine. I prefer to audition. I want to earn my stripes.
Oh no, of course. I mean, you don't want to just get the part for the sake that you look like the right guy, but can you act like the right guy?
Yeah,
that's the big thing. All right, now, so tell me about your very first gig.
So this was my very first gig's actually still on YouTube, not filmed by me, but it was at Raw Comedy all the way back it was 17 years ago, so 2008. So
how old are you then?
I'm 38 years old.
Oh, okay, so you're still relatively young. Okay,
yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, so my very first gig was Raw Comedy Heat 5 2008. I still remember it well because my friend Jesse was supposed to be on the card this night, right? So one of my acting friends, there was about 3 or 4 of us. We used to write together, have a piss up every Friday at someone's house. And we used to just make each other laugh. And they always said, you should do stand-up. Nah, you should do stand-up. Nah. And then it came to one like, oh, Jesse signed up for Raw Comedy. We're going to go down and support him. Well, I'll come down and support him. I get to the Rhino room and I realize Jesse's name's not on the card. It's me.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, no, we didn't. We never signed Jesse up. We've actually signed you. You're up tonight. So I was like, what a setup, because I was always a bit of a goner. Oh, yeah, I'll do it one day. I'm going to do it. So, yeah, I ended up getting on stage in the Raw Comedy Heat, won the heat, got through to the state just the state final, didn't go any further. But, yeah, I was kind of just on the spot my first gig all the way back in 2008. And I've aged like milk in the sun since.
So you turned people's heads on your first night, your first gig?
Yeah, and like the gig's still up there. I still watch it back now, and there's a few little cringy moments, but at the same time, the world's different now, 2025 to 2008. And the fact that I was under rehearsed because literally I didn't know I was going to be on stage to about 2 hours before I was actually on stage.
Okay, so was it kind of like half accidental, half intentional that you got on stage to do comedy?
Truth be told, once I got told I was on, there was never like, well, I'm not doing it. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Stage doesn't worry me.
All right, so in other words, you didn't see it coming 100%. What was going to happen?
No, not at all. No, I didn't see it coming. It was a genuine surprise. But when I actually got told I was on, I was chomping at the bit. Like there was no nerves, no real nothing. It was just okay. I guess because who knows how long it would have actually took me to get on stage if my friends didn't push me, you know? Yeah. And I'm glad they did because I did it and I went, this is great. And I'm glad a few years later when the acting work kind of dried up, I went, well, what outlet do I have to keep that stage rust off? Stand up. I've done that. And it just grew since from doing 5-minute spots all the way up to now doing 20 plus.
So people can find your very first time on stage on your page.
You can indeed. Now, it does still remotely looks like me because I've got a full head of hair because I've seen one of my things, but like this haircut, I never asked for this. This is Mother Nature's my barber. Yeah. But it's still up there. Just YouTube Todd Gray stand-up comedy and you'll see just the gig. I think it's SA Nick is the YouTube account. And it's not very good. It looks like it's filmed on a potato. But
how coincidental, because yesterday I was going through my video files, because I'm supposed to find some video files to implement onto my website that I'm creating. And I stumbled onto my very first act as well, my very first time presence on stage. And I found it. Even though a friend of mine, he filmed it on his phone and it's like a portrait style type video, but it was still my very first
It's still
time.
there, yeah, part of history.
And I was looking at it like, oh my God.
How did it make you feel?
It made me feel great. I mean, like I still that I had it. I thought I lost it. I didn't think I had this video footage. And I was looking at my comedy. And I see why I did that. But no, it was fun to see. And this was back in Bahrain. This was back in 2020 when the pandemic started to loosen up and places started to reopen. That's when I got into it, and I could tell. Because I got into comedy because I've had enough of life. I was just pissed off. I lost my job, lost my car, lost my place, about to lose my wife, and I'm raising my kid alone. And all this was tumbling on me, falling down on me at once. And I just said, you know what? I'm pissed the fuck off. I need to say something. And I've been thinking about comedy for a long time, but because I was always the funny kid in school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know
if anybody wanted a good laugh, they'll come to me. They would invite me to parties because they knew I knew how to work the people, make them laugh. And it never occurred to me that I could have done something like this. So when I got on stage, okay, there were only 15, 16 people there because not everybody was confident to go out. But I got offered, I got invited to go back again the week after,
That's a nice
and then the
feeling.
week after, and then they paid me to host comedy shows. I started to MC.
That's a bloody good feeling.
And I was like, fucking hell, I even though I was still dead broke, in debt like hell, but this was the only piece of happiness that I actually had and something that I actually enjoyed doing. So it was very liberating in a way.
Yeah, that's a good word, actually. Liberate. It is as well. And I found that with stand-up as well when I started doing it, just like, it is not... Because the one thing that kind of took me a bit to get used to doing stand-up was, unlike acting, you're not high... Like, you can have a persona on stage, you can even somewhat play a character, but you can't... If someone doesn't like your material, someone doesn't like it, they don't like you. You can't be like, oh, it's the character, it's the writer. It's just, this is me. This is who I am. You don't have a wall. I find stand-up to be more confronting than acting. Because, you don't have a wall to kind of hide behind. You don't have a director who's, giving you notes or anything. You don't really, this sounds bad. I hope this makes sense. You don't really have an excuse. You can't go, oh, it's the ensemble. It's the script. No, it's just when it's stand up, it's just you.
It's I think it's the perfect form of self-expression. 100%. Like I remember my second gig when the crowd started getting bigger. I was really hitting it into my marriage, and I was really hitting it into my wife. I was making all these wife jokes, these marriage jokes, and one of them said, and this was a true story of what I replied was true, but they didn't know it was true. They just went with it and laughed.
Yep.
Because I didn't have a ride, and my wife was supposed to pick me up after the gig, right?
Okay.
Right. And she doesn't want to come to my show. She's just picking me up and dropping me off, right? So after I was saying all this stuff about my wife, one of them said, "So where is she?" And I said, "Oh, the bitch is in the parking lot," because she was in the parking lot. And the thing is, they were laughing their asses off, thinking that I just made that up on the spot, and I just went with it. I didn't tell them that it was a true thing. I just went with it, And when I got into the car, and she goes, "How was it?" "Oh, yeah, it was pretty fucking good." It was pretty good. He goes, "Oh, I hope you're not wasting your time with this." "Well, honey, you've wasted 16 years of my life. I could waste 10 minutes of your time. Get that, take me the fuck home." So I just couldn't stop with the wife jokes for that point. I mean, that was my main thing because that's what I was going through.
Yeah,
right? And everybody was thinking, "Oh, what are you gonna say about your wife tonight?" "Nah, I want to try to branch out now. I think I'm done with that. I want to try to do something different." But you can't fail when you talk about marriage. There's just so many things that you can say.
So a lot of people can relate to it, and that as well, relationships.
It's almost limitless at this point of what you can say. So anyway, let's getting back. Fringe is not far away.
Yep.
Are you planning to be in the Fringe this year? This coming year?
I'm trying to think how many Fringe passes I have at home. I think I've done around about 15, 16 Fringes in total. I will be involved next year. The last few years I've been involved, but on a lesser scale. Cool story, because the last 3 years I've actually auditioned for a job overseas in Japan.
Oh, nice.
And if I get the job, I have to be over there during March, which obviously is when Fringe takes off. So it's a long shot. It's for Universal Studios, so working in their theme parks.
Oh, cool.
It's a fun, it's generally the process. I'll keep this somewhat shortish. Is about 3 years ago I saw the ad pop up on a casting networks, which is like very fancy Gumtree for actors. And I went, you know what? I haven't done a self-test for a while. I'll use this like a practice audition, And I got through to the second round, got through to the third round, got through to the fourth round, and got through to the fifth round. Now, first 4 rounds, all self-tapes. Fifth round, live Zoom audition to the casting panel in California. So first year, I made the final callbacks, no joy. Second year, made the final callbacks, and then moved on to the interview. No joy, like shortlist. This year, done the same as well, because you got to do it in English, Japanese, and Mandarin.
Oh, wow.
And I can tell you, English, loved it. Very happy with my work there.
Yeah.
Japanese, it took me the first year, butchered it. Second year, like a newsreader. Third year, and I'm probably giving away a little secret, I had a little teleprompter behind. I can read Japanese quite competently.
Nice.
But if you close that screen, my word, I will struggle.
Yeah.
Mandarin, though, I probably sounded like I was having a stroke.
Yeah, no. Well, a lot of people think Cantonese is the original language of China, but actually Mandarin is. But Cantonese is like the most also spoken language. And a lot of people can't tell the difference between the two. But the difference is very distinct.
Massively. And even like Japanese, when you look at the Japanese script, because it is written phonetically, it looks how it sounds.
Yeah.
Mandarin, no. There are words this long with like 2 syllables, and words this long with like 4 syllables. Doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
And all the little accents up the top, because how you say it means differently. But yeah, because I've done those auditions, if I got the job, then obviously I'd have to leave during the Fringe. And I'm not the kind of person who will take on a project and then abandon it, if that makes sense. So I don't dedicate too much. So next year during the Fringe, one show I always do, I'm part of the West Terrace Cemetery Tour. I've done that for about 5 years.
Okay.
Interactive tour of the West Terrace Cemetery with tour guide, actors.
Any famous dead people there?
Plenty, actually. Plenty. Probably the most famous one is the guy called the Somerton Man. He's Adelaide's longest cold case.
Okay.
He's been dug up and examined like 6 or 7 times, so you can imagine.
So he's the most popular corpse.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He is the most popular there, but there's plenty there. So I'm still doing that next year, and I'll be doing stand-up. I'll be popping up here and about.
If you do go to Japan, do me one favor.
Yeah, what's that?
All right, make a video saying turning Japanese. I think I'm turning Japanese. I really think so.
Getting off the plane. Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. So yeah, I'll be involved in the Fringe next year, but to a smaller extent, but sometimes being a punter is more fun than being a performer. Like I get to go out and see 30, 40 plus shows using the artist pass with friends and support other friends. So not doing a heap of stuff during the Fringe can be a bit of a blessing. But yeah, I wish I was doing more, but I'd rather do nothing than do something just to leave it.
Oh, no, definitely. So, okay, Todd, answer me this question. Who's your favorite comedian?
Bill Burr.
Oh, nice. That's a good
Yep.
choice.
Bill Burr, I'm not the most controversial person in the world. I'm actually somewhat cowardly when it comes to a lot of stuff. My material is all very self-deprecating. Sounds cowardly, but you can't upset anyone if you're your own target. But Bill Burr, I adore him. I know people love him or hate him. I love him because he does what a lot of people are worried to do. He does not care what people think.
Yeah, I don't think
filter.
I don't think Bill Burr has many haters at all.
I find it hard to dislike the guy, even if you're just watching or listening.
No, I don't think when you're good at your craft. And not only funny but also informative, and you make excellent points and that make you laugh. It's hard to dislike those kinds of comedians, you know. But like people like to me, a bad comedian is Jerry Seinfeld and Kevin Hart and Dane Cook. You know, I mean, like I don't find these people funny at all. I don't even know how some of them got famous. All right, Kevin Hart in movies, okay, I'll give him that. He's funny in movies. As a character actor, he can do something that's funny in a movie. But I watched his stand-up, and I'm like, okay. But then again, if I was to watch Bernie Mac or Cat Williams, I'm laughing my head off.
Bernie Mac, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm laughing my head off. Like Kevin Hart doesn't do that for me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And to me, I call Kevin Hart the Black Dane Cook because I don't think Dane Cook is funny either. Apologies to Agostino who loves Dane Cook, but I had to do a promo. I used to work for television, and I had to do a promo on Dane Cook's special, so that means I had to actually watch the whole thing, and I never sat down for 80 straight minutes not laughing at a comedy special, and I was like, how am I? But I'm in creative. I can make this look amazing. I can do a 30-second video to make this look like an Oscar. I can find
a nugget in there somewhere.
What I mean? And I did. I made it look great. But you know what? You have you ever gone to the movies and you watched a trailer that was so fucking good that when you went to see the movie you were disappointed?
Yeah, you just go,
I'm that guy that disappointed
because they put all the good stuff in the trailer. You're that guy.
So I hyped up that Dane Cook special just to take a dump on everybody that watched it because it was terrible. And Seinfeld. The show was successful, but only because of Larry David more than it was Jerry Seinfeld. Because Larry David is a comedic genius.
Well, see, I prefer Curb to Seinfeld.
Curb Your Enthusiasm is hysterical.
Yep.
And I'm not saying I hated Seinfeld, the show. Jason Alexander in it carried the show.
It was amazing.
If it wasn't for him, there would be no show. Kramer wouldn't be able to hold it by himself. You know, they needed George more than they needed Kramer.
Yeah. I love George so much. Like I said, I got my hair cut after the same thing.
But what I'm saying is Jerry Seinfeld sucks. You know, and I think he's only famous because of his status more than he is of his talent. But anyway, that's just my pet peeve.
Nah, it's fine. But it's funny how it works. Bill Burr is my favourite, and another guy called Tim Vine. Two completely different. Bill Burr tackles all the controversial stuff, and Tim Vine just does one-liners and like dad jokes.
I love one-liner jokes. I think my favourite one-liner comedian will have to be Mitch Hedberg.
Oh, that's a good shout. I forgot about Mitch.
Don't get me wrong. Rodney Dangerfield is the king of one-liners. And you got a guy named Francis, something Francis. He's really funny.
That Jimmy Carr's up there as well, one-liners. But
Mitch Hedberg he took one-liners in a different direction, which made it funny. It's like he revolutionized one-liners because he had this demeanor about him that adds to his act. Because he suffered from I wouldn't say suffer, but he had it looked like he had stage fright.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Or he
did. He generally looked nervous, like he was withdrawn, looking down.
But the thing is that's what made him more lovable.
Yep.
Right. He will put on his sunglasses. He doesn't make eye contact, and he's looking down.
Yeah, he looks at the floor the whole time.
Or he's carrying his little glass of vodka, and he gets on stage and he goes, "This jacket is dry clean only, which means it's dirty." Just the way he said it and that delivery made everybody laugh. I couldn't get enough of watching this guy.
His delivery, his delivery was kind of what made him kind of funny. Like as soon as if you played him, if people don't know, as soon as you play it, you can just, if you know him, you just hear it. You don't need to look at it. You can just hear it. That's Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah. His tone of voice as well. He's so, I don't know. He's a lovable person. I mean, he's another comedian that I don't think anybody
could
warm
hate. To him very easily.
So much so. And I didn't realize. I didn't realize that he was in the first season of that 70s show. Right, he had a small role. He was the guy that owned the little hangout where they go to eat.
I've learned something here.
Yeah. He goes, Customer number 2, please collect your hot dog. I have limited counter space. And then he comes in, then the Kelso comes in and goes, I just don't understand why you can't just serve us our food. Hey, man, I didn't lose the leg in Vietnam, so I can serve you hot dogs. You still have both your legs. Like I said, I did not lose a leg in Vietnam.
So that's a good joke. And that's a very Mitch Hedberg joke.
You know what I mean? So I knew about him on 70's show before I had realized I saw his stand-up comedy. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. And when I found out that he died at such a young age, I was so heartbroken. Because this guy would have given us so much in comedy.
The amount of specials he would have done by now as well.
Oh, my God. Not just that. The movie that he would have been in, the who he would have worked with in stand-up with other comedians, just the potential was limitless with this guy, and it's just such a waste. It really is just a waste. I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to.
The photo as well, but the photograph.
Like I came up with some one-liners, and I told them, which is funny, but I want to tell them in the style of how Mitch Hedberg would tell them.
Very nice.
You know what I mean? Like just as a tribute to him. I don't want to do it on stage. I'll make like a video one day, just telling one-liner jokes in the form and style of Mitch Hedberg. Like, stop being angry with lazy people. They didn't do anything. Just something like that. I mean, if you said it in a normal way, it's funny. But if you say it in a Mitch Hedberg way, you're going to get a laugh. Oh, wow. Talking about Mitch.
He's a legend.
I can talk about the greats forever. I can do an entire episode just talking about comedians and their influence in comedy. And it will never get boring. Now, here's the question here that I like to ask many comedians. Why do you feel that many people today are just easily offended by certain things that people say?
Look, the easy way, and probably the way to might ruffle feathers, is just saying, yeah, the world's gone soft. But opinions and all that change. But I just think, I don't know how to say this without, it's probably upset. People are getting too precious. They really are. And everyone has the right to their own opinions and stuff like that. But that's the same thing. Everyone has the right to their own opinions and jokes and everything as well.
But doesn't that hurt society? Doesn't that in a way hurt comedy? Like, comedy is one of those things that should never have a boundary. It does have a boundary, but we keep pushing the boundaries. And they allow us to continue to push the boundaries. Creators of South Park, they broke the boundaries.
Yep. They didn't
push
people
it.
who just don't care.
They didn't push the boundaries. They destroyed it. And set the bar even higher. Okay, how much more offensive can we get and still maintain to be funny before people get pissed off?
Yeah, and if someone's, you got this hate mail, throw it in the furnace.
Yeah, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. These are the only people that don't care. But the thing is, they don't do it in stand-up. They do it through funny voices and cartoon animation. Which is like a buffer in a way. Like if they were to do stand-up to say what they said on the show, for example, it would probably be received differently. But when you see all this cursing stuff coming out from 8-year-old children, you can laugh at that because it's so cute, and whatever.
Well, I always think some people think it's the end thing. It's a fad. It's cool to be offended, but that seems to be a passing trend. And half the people, what upset you about that? They wouldn't be able to tell you in graphic detail. They'd just be like, I heard a word and it triggered me or something like that. It'd be like, well, that's all. Why that's all it was. Is a word. Exactly. Yeah.
Why the fuck are you here?
And I've seen some stuff at some shows. Luckily, I've never really had any on stage myself, but I've seen some comedians who have, they've got great jokes and they say, and someone will be like, and someone will just pipe up because they heard the word, they heard the word black or they heard the word Asian and stuff like that.
God. And, that's what pisses me off. I've already told this story and I'm going to tell it again since you mentioned it. I was living in Bahrain for the last 16 years. I came here with my son and I told my son, you're coming to Australia now. He goes, yeah. Now, in Australia, people are going to want to kick your ass. It's because, because you ain't white. Yep. They're going to kick your ass. Just hit first, ask questions later, and all that kind of stuff. All right, but the thing is that's not the point of the story. He was pointing out one of his friends, and one of his friends there was this black kid with a bunch of white kids. And I said to my son, "Which one's your friend? The black kid?" And my son said, "Dad, you can't say black." And I said, "Since when? Our teacher said that we're not allowed to use the word black. So if it's nighttime and it's dark, what is it, son?" It's black. I think it's fine.
What color is the sky?
What color is the sofa that you're sitting on? That's fine, Baba. It's a description.
It's a colored sofa.
Right? It's a description. Right? If there was an Asian kid there and I said Asian, it's fine because the kid is an Asian. That is nowhere away offensive.
Yep.
Right? If I was to say, are you talking about that N word over there? All right.
Yeah.
That now that's a racist thing. You know, honkies, that's a racist thing. Gooks, chinks, that's a racist thing.
Yep.
Right? So I was explaining this to him, and then I had a huge talk with his teacher saying, and I said to her, what the fuck are you doing? All right? Stop teaching these kids. This is what occurred to me, because she was a white woman teaching my son about racism. And I think in deep down, white people are so sick and tired of being called racist because of how racist they've been, that they decided to dictate what they think is racist. So when people go against what they think is racist, they have the right to call other people racist, just showing them how racist they really are.
Yeah. This might go.
Does that sound complicated? I mean, did that complicate you at all?
No,
you know?
no, not at all. That's the word. Like, tone comes into a lot of stuff in that as well. But at the end of the day, when comedy stuff, people are getting up there, they're saying this stuff for a joke. They're saying it to make you laugh. If you don't like it, you're allowed to not like something, but you don't hate something if you don't know why you hate it. You don't hate something just because, you know, it's the in thing at the moment. It's trending or whatever. Yeah, I'm lucky. Like I said, a lot. It might be cowardly. A lot of my material is all self-deprecating and everything like that, talking about my, you know, lack of sex life or past relationships, rah. But that's because my stories are my stories. But I've seen some very good comics, Australia and Adelaide, who don't do jokes anymore because of one incident or one little pest who said something one night. Whereas again, like, a chef doesn't change their recipe if 99 people out of 100 love it just because of that one person.
Exactly right. That's a very great analogy.
Thank you. That was off the top of the head as well. I like that. But yeah, it is. It's true. Again, I'm not the smartest person to talk about when it comes to, you know, everything happening in the world and that today. But just at the end of the day, people just got to stop being as precious. I wish I had a smarter and better way to kind of explain that.
They just need to chill the hell out.
Yep. It's fine. At the end of the day, that it's a joke, you know. And if you don't like it, you don't have to laugh. But if people do laugh, don't be upset.
Don't rain on their parade.
Laughing. Yeah.
So Todd, I guess we've already answered the question. Like, had there been a moment in comedy that made you finally stand out? That was probably your first night.
It was. It was, because again, it's just when I went up there, and sounds arrogant, but I did great. Like, it was a moment where I went, oh wow, why have I been putting this off for, you know, several months? Why have I been saying I'm gonna do it when you just get up there and you just do it? It was great, and that was the night. Yeah, I was lucky enough. Again, I had Craig, who was Adelaide Comedy, come over and went, that was fine, and started getting me on the little 5-minute gigs and everything like that. So I started doing stand up just a little bit here and there, but I kind of took a bit of a hiatus because I took a hiatus from Australia. I went and I lived for 2 years over in Europe.
Oh, nice. Did you do comedy there?
Only a couple of times, but I was just working too much, only doing hospo work. Virtually, in a nutshell, the reason I went there, 2013-14, I just needed a bit of a kick up the bum, get a taste of the real life, you know. Again, I didn't handle the real world when it came to the acting work drying up and everything. And I just needed to mature a bit. Like, when I left, if I'm being completely honest, I was 25 and probably had the mentality of a 17, 18-year-old. When I came back, I was 27 and I felt 27.
Oh, really?
You know, it's the first time moving out of home, first time I had to pay my own rent, stand on my own 2 feet, first time I've worked full-time. At 25, it was the first time I've worked full-time. Yeah. So, it was a real eye-opener for me. And then I came back and got into stand-up again straight away, thanks to a guy called Ross Vosfatigas. He edged me to get back on stage, and even though I've been doing stand-up technically since 2008, I wouldn't say till I got back in 2015 is when I really was actually like, I'm a comic, like I'm a comedian. I do comedy. I do stand-up. I'm a stand-up comic. You know, it was just like, get up on stage sometimes and tell jokes. But then I got back and went, no, I'm an actor. I'm a comedian. I'm an adult. Let's go.
Oh, nice. Nice. So how do you prepare for a set there, Todd?
Funny enough, I don't write my jokes. I don't write them down.
So you and Mark Ryan.
Mark, yeah,
he doesn't write his jokes down either.
I make a dot point. Like, I'll do a dot point and just one word or just a couple of words, not even a sentence, but just go, I know what that's about.
Yeah, but do you ever rehearse your jokes, like, so you know how to deliver them, or do you just get on stage and wing it?
Mostly wing it to start with, and then it becomes somewhat ingrained in yourself, like muscle memory and that. But I like all my jokes will have the same start and the same finish, but the middle will nearly always be different. Like, it's never going to be a straight line. You're never going to detour, but you know, it'll never just be a straight line. And I like that a little bit because, again, sometimes even some of my little quips or throwaway little jokes I find in my mid-ramble or stuff like that, getting from the start to the finish and everything. So no, I'll just dot point. If you look at my dot point list, sometimes it looks like the world's most perverted shopping list when you see and stuff on there. Like, sometimes you just see, like, anyone who's seen my sets, I'll have stuff up there just being like, you know, I'll talk about like Wendy's. So that's just talking about Wendy's hot dogs and like, then like tampons, clitoris, and just words like that.
Okay.
So, and you look at it and you say, looks bizarre.
I think you and I are on the same page in comedy. But me, I'm very strategic. I write everything down. And I don't say everything word for word, but I write it down because I want to know how to. I treat it like a one-man play. I want to make sure my delivery is on time. And I rehearse constantly over and over and over again. And I give pauses in which I think would be the kind of jokes that would make people laugh more than the other jokes. So I can have a little pause in between before I tell the other one. Because my second time on stage, I didn't do that. I did write stuff down, but I didn't expect that some of them would make them laugh that much. Because they're laughing. Made me laugh.
Yeah,
and I didn't want to be that comedian that would laugh on stage at his own jokes. I was trying to keep it together, but I'm basically a virgin comedian, and I couldn't help but laugh while they were laughing.
I think sometimes that's beautiful. Sorry to cut you off, but seeing someone on stage enjoy themselves is one of the best feelings as a performer as well.
And they were hanging on my every word, but I didn't expect that in the room when I was rehearsing.
Yeah, you did.
I
only left this gap. Wow, this gap.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to laugh that hard, and the fact they couldn't. Some of them were, bawling. I was like, okay, fine. I couldn't contain myself, and I had a difficulty anyway. But there was one where I did a bit where I was sponsored by a feminine hygiene product. All right, and I would say these taglines. I did one for Vagisil, and then I did one for I created one called Mama's Free Maxi Pads. And whatever every joke I would say during a segment of a joke, at the end of it, it would relate slightly to the product.
Yep.
Right, and then right, and this kind of thing will make you itch. Oh, speaking of things that itch, go back to Vagisil.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I would come up with all these taglines, like the one that I came up with for
that was Mama's a sick burn.
Yeah.
Speaking of sick burns,
yeah, exactly right. Like Mama's Free Maxi Pad. When your urinal fairy, it looks like the scene from Carrie. Things like that. Right. It's just like a little break in between, and then I get back into my routine. But yeah, when you said what you said,
the dot
list,
points, just the little dot points, which is funny enough because when it comes to acting, I don't over rehearse. But my favorite thing, the two things I always do in acting is I always record myself reading the script so I can listen to it over and over and over again. But I find getting up and actually doing it, like actually, blocking it out yourself. Because I did a one-man show, the career highlight, one-man show in Edinburgh Fringe 2018, a show called Kokoda, about the Australian...
I think I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah, that's career highlight. It honestly is for mine. I got to do it in Adelaide twice, Melbourne, and then I took it to the Edinburgh Fringe with the writer/producer. And yeah, I did 27 shows in 28 days. It was a career highlight and it was just amazing. But with that, I found getting up and actually... just even stumbling through it, just muscle memory, it gets into your brain, it gets into your arms, it gets into your whole body and stuff. So that's how if anything, I over-rehearse as an actor, but as a comic, just dot points and all that so I can just, not riff, but just relax, just find something new in the journey.
Okay, that's great. Did you, have you ever bombed on stage?
I've had jokes bomb, but I wouldn't say I've had a whole set bomb. That might sound like I'm being arrogant, but it's true. I've never had a set where I've walked off stage and went like, fuck, like Jesus. But I've had jokes where I'm like, never again. Okay. But luckily, never again. So I'll finish it with a bit of the A grade, just so I can at least finish with a thumbs up, not a clap, just a thumbs up. But
did you ever have a moment where you forgot to tell a key joke?
Yep. Yeah, I have, and that might come again from just doing the.
I hate when that happens.
But I'll get off and I'll be like, did I hit everything on my list? And I'll be like, yep. No, No.
All right. Yeah. Now let's get to some fun questions here, Todd.
Go.
If you can do comedy for any audience in history, which time period would you choose?
Oh, gee whiz. Oh, that's a good question. I don't want to spend too long thinking about that.
It's a put on your spot kind of question. Put on the spot kind of.
Anyone, anytime in any history. Oh. God, I really don't know. Like, it's easy to say pick a traumatic event and be like trying to make people laugh during it, or just trying to see the positives. But I'd rather go back and probably during like Nixon's Watergate or something like that as well. Go. And again, I'm not that political or anything, but I just think you could help divide the world a little bit more into to seeing where they part or anything like that. And again, I'm not into politics or anything, but that is a bloody good question. I wish I had a better answer.
That's fine. The Watergate is a good. I thought you were going to say the Great Depression, but the Watergate is a good one. Yep. A lot of laughs there with that kind of
I can't do a Nixon impression. What to say? But yeah, you can have. I think you can have a lot of fun with stuff.
It's
like
very
that.
easy. You just put your neck down like this, and you put your two fingers under.
like
I'm
that.
not a crook, and just talk when you're shaking your head, kind of thing. I am not a crook. You know, my favorite line that any president has ever said. You know how people like to quote presidents, like "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country," which was JFK.
Yep.
My favorite U.S. president quote will always be, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." That's my favorite American president quote. That should be up there next to JFK. Anyway. Okay, finish this following sentence. Comedy is.
I think comedy can be, and don't get a dirty mind with this, comedy can be a release. I think it's a release in a lot of different ways. Like I said, sometimes it can be from having something pent up or being angry or something like that. Or sometimes it can just be wanting to just, like, people can have the worst. What I really enjoy about comedy, where it can be a release, is people can come into that room. You don't know what their days have been like. They could have had the best day gone. They could have had the worst day. They could have lost a loved one. They could have gained a loved one. You know,
Yeah.
and just for that moment, leave all your dramas at the door. And let's probably, again, when I talk about people being precious, leave all the dramas at the door and let's just have a laugh. Just for a few hours, you can forget about what's bothering you, or you can celebrate what's making you laugh, and let's just all be together. So I think it's just a release in a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. I hope that probably might be too deep a meaning for there, but release. Release.
Save the drama for your mama.
Yep.
That's right. Okay. What's the one thing you'd like people to take away from this conversation between the two of us?
Just generally, I wouldn't say... I'm not an inspirational speaker, but just don't doubt yourself. Back yourself in. Confidence is a funny thing in life. I have more confidence getting on stage and speaking filth than I would say going up and talking to a stranger at the bar or like trying to pick up a girl or something like that. So just back yourself in. If you think it's funny, it is. Like, if the main thing is, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, don't do it. Why are you doing it? So in a nutshell, just back yourself in. Be confident in your own work. Be confident in you.
Okay. If you could swap lives with any comedian for a week, who would it be? Now, my guess is probably going to be Bill Burr, but what are you going to say?
I'd love to have the courage Bill Burr has. Yeah, where you can just say it how it is. This is how it is. This is my opinion. No one's going to change it. So Bill Burr would probably be Bill Burr would be my top answer.
I feel Bill Burr is the white Chappelle.
Yeah,
I think he does for white people what Chappelle does for blacks. In terms of his comedy, I think he does the same kind of thing, but from a white person's perspective, as Dave Chappelle does from a black person's perspective.
Yes. Hell's bells. I never made those docs. That's actually really spoke to me.
Because Bill Burr was part of the cast and I think the writing staff of the Chappelle Show.
Yeah, he was because he's in the Samuel Jackson bit.
Yeah.
He is in that. So yeah, you're right. He is
also in that Dice sketch.
Yeah, you're right. He is actually. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Absolutely
one of the
right.
commentators.
So yeah, it would be Bill Burr. Plus, he's done a fair bit. Like he just last year I think finished that animated show called F is for Family, which he produced and all that as well. Did the voices of. He's just got a very interesting life. And I really admire his courage and just his lack of not giving a shit, if that makes sense.
Well, the thing is, like, he's just cutting through all the bullshit and getting straight to the point.
Yeah.
He's not going around it. He's not trying to
pussyfooting around it, and tippy toe.
He's just going for it. Like, this is what's going on.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, then fuck you, because this is what's going on.
Yep.
You don't have to like it, but you got to accept the fact that this is the truth and what's going on. Stop trying to pussyfoot around it. Okay. Now we're going to get to what I like to call the existential part of the podcast. Okay, do you think comedy is a way of avoiding the big question of life, or is it in a way answering them?
For myself, avoiding.
Oh, really?
It really is. For mine, yeah, it is. For me, it is just avoiding.
Like a nice big distraction, huh?
Yep. Yeah, very much so. Like as long if I'm doing stand up and all that, then I don't have to adult as much as I need to. I don't have to worry about where my life's going or anything. I don't need to look at the bigger picture when I'm just leaving everything at the door. I'm on stage tonight. Everything can stay at the door. And unfortunately, I try to leave it at the door, but that can't in saying that. So for me personally, just speaking purely personally, it's a way to avoid for me.
Okay, great. So when you're on stage, do you feel you are more yourself or less yourself?
Less myself, but because day-to-day life, generally, I pat myself in the back. I'm a very polite person. I'm a sir. I'm a madam. I hold the door open for people.
Nice guys finish last. You know that.
Yeah, and then I get on stage and I won't I'm filth. I speak a lot of filth, and I know I've had some people I'm in the I work in the greyhound racing industry and everything. So I have some people who have grown up around me my whole life. They've known me since I was a little fella walking around. They'll come see me at a show. They'll be like, I've never seen that. Oh my word. Like heavens, so yeah, I think I'm more myself off stage than I am on. But when I'm on stage, it is a little bit of a persona and all that. I'm much more confident on stage than I am off stage.
Oh yeah, okay. Because you kind of feel that sense of power.
Yeah.
Because all eyes are on you.
Yeah.
And they are forced to listen to what you got to say and do what you got to do. Yeah. Okay. So. Do you feel like you're connecting with people when you're on stage, or do you feel like you're escaping from them when you're on stage?
No, connecting. I do. I like to look the audience members in the eye. Sometimes there's a little bit of back and forwards, not like audience work, but just a lot of people can relate because again, it's all my stuff's about sex stories which have gone good, bad, in between, past relationships, little things I've just picked up as a little kid growing up. Like that Wendy's joke I was telling you was virtually that joke in a nutshell was like realizing when I was about 10 or 11, it was my very first kind of accidental sexual fetish, watching the girls make hot dogs at Wendy's because, they get the bun, they put it on the shaft, they twist it, turn it, take it off, sausage in the hole, stuff like that. So, and people can like laugh along with it. And a few other people will be like, he's right. Like I've actually had some moments where people will be like, I've thought the same and everything. So yeah, I connect. I connect.
I don't know if I'm hungry or horny at this point. Okay. Let's get to the fun part. Oh, wait, before we get to the fun part, if you could open up for any comedian on earth, who would you like to open for?
In his prime, do you met Eddie Izzard? I don't know if you're not familiar. He's a cross-dressing comedian, but he's done some jokes. But he's a bit too political and all that now for my liking. But like he'd done some specials back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And he was all satire and that as well. And he was a bit like religious and that, a bit smart comedy. And I'm not really smart comedy. But he just had this amazing stage presence about him. He just demanded your attention, not just because he'd come out wearing a dress and whatnot and makeup and whatnot, but he just had this incredible persona, this aura about him. And But then at the same time, he'd also have jokes which would be so clever and so filthy at the same time. Absolutely genius filth. Yeah. So it would be. It would be old Eddie Izzard, or again go back to me mate. Current Bill Burr.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. So, all right, now we'll get to the funny part. If animals could do stand-up, which animal do you think would be the funniest on stage?
An otter.
There you go.
An otter.
I was hoping you wouldn't say hyena.
No, an otter. I find otters to be bizarre because they look so cute. They look so adorable. They're great and all that. Then you throw them a fish and they rip the shit out of it straight away. This cute little thing, making these adorable little noises, vicious little buggers and that as well. So they look like butter wouldn't melt in their mouth, but they'll bite your head off at the drop of a hat. Oh, wow. So it'd be close. Otter. Honorable mention to a meerkat.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they'll always be looking for their audience and their cue. Okay. Which historical figure do you think would have made a great comedian?
Dead set. I know this one. Mine would be Rosa Parks.
Really?
Yep.
You think she would have gotten on stage saying, they made me sit in the back of the bus, but I wasn't kind of thing? You think she would bring that up?
She was, again, it's nothing to do with being like, it's nothing to do with just being a woman or anything like that. She just went against all the social norms. She wasn't afraid to stick up for what she believed in, and it would take the world. She was a tiny little lady, but it would take the world to move her. I would. And again, she didn't care what people think. I know I've said Bill Burr a million times, but she was Bill Burr before Bill Burr.
Oh, yeah. Well, the story behind it all is that the reason why she didn't move, it wasn't because she refused to go against the rules.
The norms.
She just sat down. She goes, my feet are killing me and I can't move. All right, so she was defying without the intention of defying.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the color of my skin. It's to do with
I'm tired. I'm tired. It said more than just her being tired physically. It was also saying, you know what? I'm tired of your bullshit too. I don't have to sit there. This is empty. I'm sitting here. Fuck you.
Yeah, a seat is a seat.
Yeah, no where and I think at that point she just had enough because her body shut down. But this still has to go on. Yeah. No, if my body's shut down, then this has to shut down too.
So I just got to. My whole life I built around respect and all that, and I respect the hell out of it. So Rosa Parks is my answer.
That's a very original answer. I never would have expected anybody to say that. Yeah. Yeah, I've had people that say Winston Churchill.
Oh, that's not that's not a bad one. That's good.
Genghis Khan, maybe.
Yep.
I think I said Genghis Khan. Maybe because like after a day in battle, he'll be like, "So I hit 100 nerves today," something like that as an opener. Actually, there is one more existential question, which is, I had to put on a separate page.
Go for it.
If humor disappeared from the world overnight, how do you think the people will cope?
If what disappeared?
If humor was to
hell's bells.
if it was to disappear overnight, never to return, how would people cope with their daily lives, you reckon? Or with life in general?
It'd just be a slow descent into madness. You need to be able to smile. You need to be able to laugh. If you take that away, it's what a shit show it would be. The whole world just being full of those, newsreader like personalities. No, it wouldn't last. I reckon it would take months, but then it would be just an instant descent into madness, chaos.
Yeah, sad sacks of people.
Yeah.
I think people will still smile.
Because misery breeds misery.
I think people will still smile because you don't need laughter to smile. You can just have love.
Love, yeah.
Smile.
But
somebody that makes you feel good. That make you
fake smile.
Yeah.
You can smile.
It'd be like a love of a good woman. That would make you smile. But what I'm saying, if the comedy aspect is gone.
Yeah, but if you can't laugh, if you can't joke around a beautiful, the love of your life and all that, no, it's.
So
it's
bars would be a horrible place to go to.
Yeah.
And what songs would they be singing on stage?
It'd be absolutely rubbish. Exactly.
They'll just be singing
all the duets would be awful.
Probably Metallica type songs, heavy metal, dark goth stuff. Yeah, okay. And I think the world would definitely be a very different place. What is a joke that you've heard that made you laugh so much that you wish you had written?
It sounds so silly. This is another Tim Vine joke, and these are jokes he does. He I don't know if he still holds it, but he had the current real record for most jokes told in an hour because he is just one-liners, bang, 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 bang.
That's a lot.
But he just had a joke, and it's so simple. Sometimes he has prop comedy, big bag of props, and he just looked into his bag, and he's like, "What's that for?" And he reached in and he just pulled out a big number 4.
Okay.
Like, I know it's such a mwah joke, but then when I saw that, I'm like, this is stupid and genius at the same time. So yeah, pretty much anything Tim Vine does. But that's the kind of just the most basic child humor done for adults. So yeah, that joke is probably a silly answer, but go watch Joke-O-Motive by Tim Vine. He just rattles them off non-stop for an hour.
No, there's no such thing as a bad answer. Here we go. Now we have entered the portion of the conclusion of the podcast where I'm going to ask you a series of 10 questions. Now, I'm sure a person of your been around comedy for a while, you know who James Lipton was?
Yeah, Actors Studio.
Exactly. So I don't have to explain it every time. So let's just get into it. What is your favorite word?
This one sounds like a joke. It's not. Kerfuffle.
That's fine.
I hear the word. If I say the word kerfuffle, it makes me smirk. If I hear someone else say it, it makes me giggle.
Okay, kerfuffle.
Yep, kerfuffle.
It's
generally.
I was just testing it.
Generally, just the word that makes me.
I just feel like that's probably a bad way for somebody to pronounce falafel. I'll have a kerfuffle, please. No, okay. Now, what is your least favorite word?
This one's easy. The word, just in general, liar. I hate the word liar. I hate being, if you want to see me fire up, call me a liar, because I am not the best, smartest, or bravest at anything, but the one thing I am is honest and just don't want anything to do with lies. Liar. Absolutely, that was an easy one.
Okay, I'm going to get very political. So you basically hate every Israeli person on earth. Okay. I don't give a fuck. Fuck y'all. No, I have to say it. Now, what turns you on?
That is validation. I don't think there's a better feeling in the world than being just someone saying like, you've done a good job, well done, shaking your hand.
Nice.
Just validation, a pat on the back. I don't care, if you do a good job, money's not the first thing you want. Just someone saying like, you've done a good job. Validation.
Okay. So what turns you off?
Arrogance and egos. And I know we might be in the wrong industry, but arrogance is instant. No, won't have that.
Okay. What is your favorite curse word?
I only got addicted to it when I was living over in England. Bollocks.
Okay.
Bollocks.
I am
Absolute bollocks.
it's so refreshing to not hear you say the
Drop
C
the
word.
C word? Yeah.
Because I've had 5 guests in a row that all said the same one.
Yep. No, bollocks.
Bollocks.
Bollocks is my swear word kerfuffle. It makes me giggle.
You know, when you watch movies like Lock, Stock, and Snatch, you can't help but say it all the time.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know?
No, bollocks is absolutely number one.
Cool. It sounds like a curse word, but at the same time, it's not.
Yeah. Technically, yes, it's a swear, but it's very
It's like a
loose one.
PG rated swear.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
Just probably like running water in general, running water, be it from like a waterfall, rain on the roof. I find it just so relaxing. Like there are days I'll just, it's pissing down outside. I've got a veranda now since I've moved house. Just go out there, go out there with a cup of tea. My dog will sit in the bed next to it and I'll just sit there for half hour plus just listening to the rain.
Nice. So what sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, this is I don't know how to put this in. Have you ever, like, when you're speaking of water, like turned off a tap or anything and the pipes make that rumbling like noise in the wall? Yeah. Oh, that is my nails on a chalkboard. Okay. That gets the cold shiver and the whole strew straight away.
Okay.
Oh, can't be having that. I don't like that. Can't be having that.
No, of course. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Well, it's probably bizarre because technically I could do it being an actor in that, but I'd love to be a very versatile voice actor. Cartoons, video games, and everything. Nice. Because, like I said, you can do anything. That's the beauty about cartoons and video games. There's no such thing as impossible. Anything can be animated. Anything can be put into a video game. Anything can be thought of. There is no confines. So I'd love to be a voice actor, and I've been lucky enough. I have done a voice in one video game, Kokoda VR. Where it was just various, no characters or anything. But that was just when I don't have the most versatile voice in the world. I can't do a million accents, but I'd love a full-time voice actor because then every gig is unique and you never know what could happen.
How famous do you think that guy is from Mortal Kombat that says Japan?
Yeah,
Street Fighter, not Mortal Kombat, Japan and USSR. Remember?
Fight.
That guy.
Round one.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That guy's got a living, man, just by saying those words. Anyway, what profession would you not like to do?
Oh, how am I going to word this? This is probably going to be such a bizarre and weird answer. Anything to do with this might make me sound weird. Anything to do with any like intimacy or anything like that. I've only ever worked once with an intimacy director on a set. It was for a kissing scene I did for a music video. And I just find like intimacy, this might make me sound like a bloody psychologist's dream and a therapist's bloody retirement fund, but intimacy it scares me, man. It really does. It scares me a lot. So anything to do with intimacy. So intimacy director's the only job that came to mind, but just anything to do with love and affection. It sounds so weird. It generally does scare me.
So a couples counselor.
Yeah. In a nutshell, listening to other relationships. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's as good. I wanted to think of a better one than intimacy director because that's the only thing that came to mind with the word intimacy in it. But you're right. Okay. Yeah. Anything to do with relationships, which is, going downhill or anything like that, and just affecting other people, affecting love. Yeah. Anything to do with intimacy.
And the final question is, if heaven does exist, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I guess technically going back to the validation thing, he doesn't really need to say anything. I'd just love to walk up and it just give me that nod or a thumbs up, just that you deserve to be here. And again, if it comes across as arrogant, so be it. But I can look at him and just nod back. Like that Robert Redford meme of just rest in peace. Just when he kind of nods at the camera and all that. Just like I nod back and just be like, I do deserve to be here.
Like
cheers,
everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So that's just that little bit of like, you've done well. Get in here. And I'll be like, thank you. I will go in there.
Oh, well, there you have it. Todd, thanks so much for being here.
No, I really do.
Todd Gray, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel at Fame Film Agency and my Instagram at Fame Film Agency and my YouTube at Majid and Andary. I have been your host, Majid and Andary Magic Lab. Check out Todd Gray's Instagram. Any shows coming up soon?
Nothing on the horizon. Doing the West Terrace shows on the next few Fridays, but they're already sold out, I'm afraid. The Bavard on October the 30th, doing a spot, and all the way in November 6th, I am doing Nevermind as well. Nevermind Comedy Club.
Well, if you got no Nevermind to do, come check out Todd. You will not be disappointed. Until next time, guys, take care.